All right, so we're back with another Netherlands versus Chile game. It looks like this one is going to be Dragon versus Unicorn. Let me go ahead and, or not Dragon versus Unicorn. That was the game we just played. Crab versus Unicorn. So let me update my stream to reflect that. And this is, who is our unicorn player is Otaku. All right, there we go. All right, stream all updated. Whenever they are. So let's get into this game. All right, so we've got crab versus unicorn. This unicorn on uh, Hisamori instead of Shinjo. So this one's going to be very aggressive about getting breaks, not doing a scattered terrain for just flipping all the provinces and going there. And this crab looks like it is probably a berserker deck with this crisis breaker being flipped. So we see crisis breaker, gallant quartermaster, a Kuni Labs, and a keeper initiate for crab. And we see a Gunso uh, purchased by Unicorn, and they get a border rider. We also see a trailblazer, a battle maiden recruit, a golden rider, and a Kaze regulars. Can't read. For Unicorn. And so we do see Gallant Quartermaster bought with Crab and a Yasamura purchased with 1 by our Unicorn. And Crab triggers their Stronghold. We'll see what they get with it. All right. Do nothing with their Stronghold and with their characters. And then they buy this Crisis Breaker with 2 Fate at a 2 Fate discount because of Shinsei's Last Hope. Comes in Dishonored. So we saw Iron Mine, Crisis Breaker, and Ouji discarded to the Crab Stronghold. And we do see Battle Maiden Recruit come out on the Unicorn side as well. All right, we see Watch Commander played on Crisis Breaker after 5/5 bids in the draw phase. So Watch Commander, classic crab card. All right, and I'm going to take a look at these deck lists while we're waiting on this first conflict. So it looks like this Unicorn is on Lion Splash with 3 Take Up Command, 3 Ready for Battle, and 2 for Greater Glory. We also see that they're Keeper of Earth, so they're running Unfulfilled Duty to get some additional readies on characters. We see 3 Tessens as well, so lots of readies out there for Unicorn. 3 Ambushers as well to stop any province abilities. And then on Crab, it looks like they're running 3 Tattooed Wanderer, 3 Let Go for their splash. And this does look like a standard Berserker deck with Wicked Tetsubo and Jade Tetsubo in there. And then Fight On being that their Keeper of Water. And so we do see a conflict initiated here at Shinsei's Last Hope, and Crisis Breaker defends versus Yasamura, Border Rider, and Shinzo Gunso. And actually, Crisis Breaker wasn't able to defend. They were coverted by Yasamura, but use their ability to get into the conflict action. You then see Bonsai used by Unicorn, and a Katana played, and then a join the fray. So that's going to get enough to break this Shinsei's last hope by this very aggressive Unicorn, and then they trigger their stronghold to get an extra military attack this round. And so we'll see what else they decide to do. So the Border Rider is going to be able to ready as needed. And looks like we're going to see a political water poke here with this gallant quartermaster at City of the Rich Frog. So thanks to this CUNY Labs, quartermaster is already at 2 strength, so just 1 strength needed to break this province. All right, and then we do see captive audience used to flip this to military, bringing it down to 1 strength from the quartermaster and 2 from this battle maiden recruit. So Unicorn now winning this conflict. All right, and Crab passes. And we see Border Rider ready. And a Tessin played to ready Yasamura. And so, as expected, very aggressive start from this Unicorn player. Let's see, what are Crab's likely provinces here? So Crab running Shameful Display, CUNY Wasteland, Upholding Authority, and Fertile Fields. So this Yasamura could probably break alone on military most of the provinces you'd run into. But we do see they're going to attack together, and they do attack into Fertile Fields. So they are currently breaking. So we see no defense from Crab. And we'll see if we see anything played or if they just pass right away. Card, giving them additional options. All right, yeah, and no characters played to defend this, so we see the break on Fertile Fields. So Unicorn already 2 breaks versus 0 breaks on Crab. So not looking great for Crab here. All right, so we see Common Cause used to sack the Gallant Quartermaster and ready this Crisis Breaker. So Crisis Breaker going to be able to go in and break a province. And it looks like we're seeing an Earth Ring attack here at the City of the Rich Frog. So this city will break unless Unicorn can do something to defend it. But at this point, I'm not sure how much Unicorn cares about this city. They're already fairly well up. And having this Yasamura still active for next turn will be good. But we do see Ambusher played. That's not going to be enough to prevent the break. So we'll see if they want to invest any more cards into this. Every card they invest is also an honor that they lose, though, due to this Watch Commander on Crisis Breaker. All right. Yeah, and we are going to see this city broken. So playing that ambusher still lost you a fate, um, or not a fate, an honor. So I'm not sure that playing it there was worth it, because you would have still lost an honor on an unopposed. Um, and we see Take Up Command discarded to the Earth Ring. All right, Unicorn will claim favor. And we see 4 cards to 8 cards going into turn 2. And Unicorn up 2 breaks to 1 right now. All right, so we see another Cooney Labs, another Crisis Breaker, a Vanguard Warrior, Forges, and a Season of War show up for Crab. On the Unicorn side, we see an Infantry, a Moto Youth, an Encampment, and a Golden Plains Rider come out for them. So that Encampment, if Unicorn can manage to claim a military ring, will let them ready one of their characters again. So I imagine Crab will prioritize getting that off the board just in case. Like Crab triggers their Stronghold and sees Cooney Lab Vanguard Warrior and, or sorry, not Cooney Lab Vanguard Warrior, sees Shrewd Yusuke and Iron Mine discarded and purchases a Yusuke with 2 additional fate. I looked at the wrong line there when I started. And then we see Crisis Breaker bought with 1 and Vanguard Warrior bought with none. On the Crab side, on the Unicorn, we see Infantry bought with 1 and Moto Youth bought with 0. And same thing for the Golden Plains Rider bought with 0. So both players having a fairly good board. These Crisis Breakers are going to allow Crab to defend fairly well against a military assault, because both of them can ready themselves and move into a conflict. All right. So we see a bit of 1, 2, 3 during the draw phase, bringing Unicorn down to 5 honor. And then this Cooney Labs brings Crab down to 9. So honor's starting to get tight for the Unicorn player here. And it looks like we're seeing a political water poke here with the Shrewd Yusuke and Crisis Breaker. I guess that's more than a poke, actually. 5 strength going in. And only political really represented on this Infantry, and only really when defending with some other characters. So we see 5 political strength attacked into Manicured Gardens. And I imagine this Water Ring will get at least 1 Keeper Initiate, because we saw 1 on a flop. I don't know if any others were discarded to the Stronghold. Yeah, so we'll get 1 Keeper Initiate with this, and probably bow the Yasamura. So Unicorn does defend with their Golden Plains Rider. And passes, and we see Yasuki triggered. Yeah, this board is definitely difficult for Unicorn to attack into. So although they had a great first turn, Crab's having a great second turn, and can easily turn this game around. All right. And so we do see Manicure used to gain a fate, and then it is broken. We see the Water Ring bow Yasamura and ready for battle to ready again. and then Keeper Initiate. All right, so we see a curved blade come down on this infantry. So that's going to boost their military skill. And looks like they're going air here. Need to recover some honor. They lost one for playing that ready for battle in the conflict with the Crisis Breaker. And Crisis Breaker, I do imagine coming into this conflict immediately. And so Unicorn attacking here with 9 military at upholding authority. So if Crab lets this break here, they can increase their card advantage by picking some cards out, but that does put Unicorn on the stronghold. So we see defense with the Vanguard Warrior, and we do see Crisis Breaker used immediately to pull himself in, bringing it 9-9. So preventing the break, but Unicorn still winning this. And Crab declaring which of the 2 Crisis Breakers they used for this so that Unicorn knows in case it matters. Because there's no real indication right now on this platform of which characters use their abilities and which ones haven't. All right. So we'll see if Unicorn wants to do any pumps to try and break this, or if they're happy just to take this air ring and gain back some honor. Because they don't really want to play cards in, because they'll lose honor for doing so. And so I think Crab is going to want to do some boosts to get them winning, to force Unicorn to either play cards or not get this air ring. All right, we see Forges used and nothing grabbed with it. So possible a complete whiff on there with the Forges. Rare when you're looking at 10 cards, but it does happen. I wonder if this Crab has one of their 3 rebuilds in hand. All right, we see Shinjo Ambusher used to prevent upholding authority from being triggered and an honor loss for that. And that gives 3 additional skill to the conflict. So upholding authority is now breaking. So 2 from this ambusher and an additional 1 for the infantry for this ambusher coming into the conflict. All right, and we see a Tattooed Wanderer played in with 1 fate to bring it back up to 12-12. So if Unicorn honor is starting to get really low, and if Crab can do anything to prevent them claiming this air ring, it's going to put them in fairly dangerous territory. All right, Unicorn passes, so let's see if Crab does anything. And we do see rebuild for Cooney Labs. So that's going to give +3 skill to Crab, allowing them to win this conflict. All right, Unicorn passes, so Crab will win that, denying the air ring. I imagine we'll see a military attack with this Crisis Breaker and Keeper Initiate. But it looks like actually we just see just the Keeper Initiate going military fire. And so, yeah, actually, the Keeper Initiate by itself, if this youth defends, the second Crisis Breaker can use its ability to bring the Crisis Breaker with Watch Commander on it. So, yeah, this actually makes sense. Oh, wait, 2 CUNY Labs puts this Keeper Initiate at 3. So, actually won't be able to trigger with this Moto Youth. We do see Endless Plains attacked into. And so that Keeper Initiate's going bye-bye. And no defense from our Unicorn, and both players pass. So that fire ring remains unclaimed. All right, we see no political attack from our Unicorn player. And so Crab will claim favor. And this Unicorn board is going away except for this infantry. And Crab, realizing they forgot to use the Vanguard Warrior to save this Crisis Breaker. And Crab, recognizing their mistake too late, so that's good for Unicorn, unless, of course, Crab has another Watch Commander in hand. All right, so we see Butcher of the Fallen and Yasuki and a Season of War show up for Crab. And we see double Season of War, Encampment, Trailblazer, and Shono show up for Unicorn. So we see Trailblazer purchased with no additional fate by our Unicorn. I imagine we see this Yasuki purchased by Crab. Eric doing a Darren. Does Darren forget Vanguard Warrior all the time? We see Butcherbot with 2 fate. And we do see Season of War triggered. We get a Caillou Envoy, a Quartermaster, the 3rd CUNY Labs, and a Yakumo for Crab. And we get a Tetsuko, another Shono, and Gunzo for Unicorn, as well as the Yurt. So that Yurt's going to be useful in gaining some honor. And we see Gunzo used to grab another Yasamura. Cost him top 8 at a Grand Cote. Oof. That is unfortunate. I bet he never forgets it again, though. All right, so we see Envoy purchased with no additional fate, and then the Yurt used to get honor to both players. So, I mean, Crab is called this turn, and that Butcher is going to prevent characters from breaking. From defending. So right now, this Shono or Tetsuko need to be bought to be able to have a defender. And with Tetsuko, you have to go in and break a province in order to defend. So we see a Gunso bot and gets an infantry with it. Can't forget it. We never stop reminding him. I mean, it's always good. You got to remind players of their mistakes. It keeps them humble. All right, so we do see a bid of 5 to 1. So Crab going down to 5 honor, Unicorn up to 9, and the Cooney Lab is triggered, which is actually what brings the Crab all the way down to 5. All right, so we're seeing a fairly aggressive attack here by Unicorn, going military air at upholding authority. And so we see infantry, Yasamura, and Gunso attack. Uh, and Crab, realizing that they're probably going after the stronghold, may not care to defend this all that much. But we do see a defense from the Butcher, the Yusuke, and the Envoy. And Yusuke used to go and grab a card. So, yeah, can't stop, right? Always got to remind Dare of everything he did. So, all right, so I imagine we're going to see a common cause here to ready this Butcher. So getting rid of this Envoy to do so. Yep, and there we do. We see the common cause to ready the Butcher. And so I imagine this is going to be game. I'm not sure how much movement Unicorn has, but this Butcher is going to attack. None of these characters are going to be able to defend. And we're going to see Crisis Breaker going with maybe this Tattooed Wanderer as well. Uh, Unicorn maybe having a join the fray to bring in this Tetsuko or Shono as defenders here. And possibly a Cav reserves as well. Um, but actually, with only 2 Fate, they actually won't have Cav reserves. We see Talisman of the Sun played. That's why they go down to 2 Fate. And we see Let Go immediately used to get rid of it. And if Unicorn does manage to stop this assault here from Crab, and prevent this break. I imagine Crab has at least one fight on to defend with, and there actually we do see the good game call from the Unicorn player. So this is going to be another win for Eric. That's two in a row. So it was a good game by both players. Unicorn got off to a very aggressive start, but Crab was able to recover pretty well on turn two, turning the tides back in their favor. So we see that is another win for the Netherlands. Thanks so much for tuning in, hanging out as we watch this game, and I make a bunch of dumb predictions of what's going to happen and call the game wrong. But it was fun. We'll try and catch any more games as they come up today, but I don't know how much more time I'll actually have to do so. But we will catch everybody later.